Hello everyone. So today my topic is service authentication in AEM. So service authentication is like you have seen that before 6.0 we used to have admin resource resolver, but after that we got to know that this is an overuse of admin resource resolver. So now we have service authentication through which we can do backend processes like accessing a node and fetching some data, something like that. So the format of service configuration is service name colon subservice name is equal to system user. So first of all, we need to know what is service name. So okay, we will go to the Felix console. Sling hyphen model. So this is my project. So service name is symbolic name of the bundle. So what will be the service name here? This will be the service name here. Service name subservice name is like we give a name to the mapping that okay, if we are mapping this particular thing we will call it like read access, write access, something like that. So this is an optional field and it is not mandatory at all. And another is system users. So yes, we need to have some system users. So yes, this is how configuration is being done. So now there are some deprecated login administrative. One is sling repository.login administrative. Another is resource resolver factory.get administrative resource resolver. There is one another resource provider factory.get administrative resource provider. But in AEM 6.3 this API has been completely deprecated. So we will not talk about this. So we will go to the configurations. I've just copied the bundle symbolic name config mgr. So right now I have written a servlet. Okay, we will open it once again. My idea. Give me a moment, please. Okay, so we will talk about configurations, user mapper configurations. So we have two user mapper configurations in AEM, Apache Sling Service User Mapper Service or Apache Sling Service User Mapper Amendment. So we have a lot of blocks where the use cases of written, but we will talk about some new things in this video. So okay, let my idea be open. So meanwhile, we should have a system user. So I have already a system user in my, uh, you know, in my user admin. So we have a system user named CUG-service. Okay, so we can just provide. So what we are trying to access in my code, let me see once again. I'm trying to access app slash my project. So I will just give read access to this particular where is my project. Okay, okay, so this much access is more than enough for this. You understand the Java class. There is a resource resolver factory interface, and now we need to pass authentication here in the form of map. So we pass here resource resolver factory dot subservice and the name of the subservice. If we give it, we can provide it null if we don't want to put any subservice. We give the name of the services, maybe read access. Okay, so okay, let me build the code meanwhile. Sorry, we need to build the code. So meanwhile the code gets built, we just need to configure the things. So and we just open bundles in one tab. So what we can do, so we will copy the symbolic name. Okay, so we search for user mapper service. So we put it like colon read access is equal to cug hyphen service. So cug service is my system user, read access is my subservice name. So if I hit okay, maybe I think okay, my code is built, and if I hit localhost slash bin slash json, it gives me the path of the resource. And if I don't provide this access, what will happen? Internal server error, null pointer exception. Okay, so this is how my resource my service authentication works. So so what kind of varieties we can provide in our service authentication? So if we don't want to give a subservice name, what we can do, there is no need to put a service name. We can remove it from here, and what we can do, we can just put this read access as a null. So it will understand, okay, I am not giving any subservice name. I'm building the code. Meanwhile, I need to save my configurations. Yes, my code is getting built. Okay, meanwhile the code gets built, we need to discuss one more particular configuration. So in the user mapper configuration, there is a default user. So if we don't want to create any service mapping, we can provide a default user and the authentication. So if a particular, a resource resolver factory doesn't get any service mappings to get, it will just fetch all the authentication of the default user. So, okay, there is nothing like, okay, now we can fetch it again. The other variety which can happen here is, now we just remove it, we see what will happen. There is no configurations right now. So we can see cannot drive username for bundle, so there is no username. Okay, so what other things we can do? We can provide a default user. So this user will be used for all the bundles which are using this and don't have service mapping. I think service has UG hyphen service, and it has my authentication. So yes, I am able to access it. So these kind of varieties user mapper configuration provide. And if I want to have if I want to have a project specific configuration, so we need to configure a new configuration. We need to go to the configuration factory and we can configure the things here, like we can configure this colon cug hyphen service. So we can do it there and here as well. But if it is a project specific, it is good to make it under Apache Sling service user mapper amendment. So there is one more thing which you can okay, we will talk about ranking later on, so that we can just demonstrate this as well. Okay, so the next point we can discuss over here is we will discuss service mapping, service ranking later on. So now new login service method. So now we have new login service method. So you have already seen that we are calling get service resource resolver here. In the same way, we can use session.login service. We can pass service information here, and we can just send the workspace here. So there is a question in everybody's mind, can non-system users can be used for service mapping? And yes, you will be good to know that yes, we can. But I don't know uh, why AEM provides it that it should be a system user. But yes, it can be a non-system user. So let's demonstrate here it as well. We are just unchecking this particular thing, and let's have a non-system user, like, okay, let me create a non-system user. Create user. I will create a test user. Okay, no need. So there is a need of creating non-system user, And if I go to the configuration, sorry, so if we go to the configuration, we can change this particular user to, sorry, test. And don't forget to provide authentication to test user. So if we are having a test user, permissions, what the permission I want, apps, my project, read access. This would be sufficient for me right now. Yes, I am able to do that, but it is not recommended at all, so don't try it. But yes, you should know that non-systems users can help you. There is another thing. You just have a you if you want to see all the report of user mapping. So where you can see, you can go to status Sling service user mapping. So I think though there is no need of such kind of demonstration. So there are three more interfaces which are very helpful in the case of service authentication. We will discuss each and every interface with example. So first one is service user mapped. So how service user mapped helps? So if there is no service mappings available for a particular bundle, so it won't make the component active. So in which component I'm calling the things, it won't make me able to just make my component active. So okay, just remove all these things. Just give it a try to all these interface. Service user mapped. Okay. So if dot get writer dot print service user mapped dot, sorry, so if we if we have something like writer and we have something to print like hi, so give me a second. So what we can do, okay, so what we can do, we can pass it will get the default service mapping, service user mapped authentication, and if you can provide the exact sub service if you have any. So okay, so it will be called if it will get a mapping correspond to this particular bundle, otherwise it won't make this component active. So we will see how these things happens. It will be a small time to just, okay, so if we hit the servlet, we will get the value high, but if we don't get any user mapper configuration uh, correspond to Sling model, so what will happen, we will see this. So if I don't have any configuration, okay, let me copy it once. If I don't have any configuration correspond to this particular bundle, so what will happen, resource at bin slash json not found. And if I go to the components, json sample, so we can see that that this particular component is unsatisfied reference because it is not getting any service mapping. So we have one more just scenario here, as I told you, that we can map a target here. So if we have configured service mapping with a specific service, we can add it here. So I think we are clear about it. The other interface is service user mapper. Okay, so what service user mapper does, let's understand this as well. Service user mapper, service user mapper. Okay, let me just, okay, Then what I need to do? What is the method available in this API? Service user mapper dot get service user ID. So it will give me the user name. Okay, so what I need to pass, I need to just check again bundle and string. So bundle, how will I get a bundle? I will not hard code anything. I can just get framework util dot get bundle this dot get class and comma. I'm not having any mappings. I am not having any subservice for mapping. So I will do it like this only. I will build the package. I will build the package. I will build the package and we'll just see how it will work. uh, Meanwhile, oh, I missed one thing. I just need to get everything here inside the response. So that's why so this is how I will be able to get the username. I'm doing something wrong? No, I'm not. Okay. So this is how, okay, we just build my bundle. And if I configure something here, user mapper, so let me configure it here only. It won't take more time for me to do. Oh, sorry. I need to go to my bundles once again. Sorry. Sling hyphen models. So I will just copy the bundle name once again, is equal to cug hyphen sorry test. We have just make it as non-system user as well. Okay. So if I build the code, I can see hi test. So this is the user ID I can get through the bundle and subservice name. Okay, there is one another thing which is service user validator. So if I want to know that okay my user is sorry my user is valid or not, it means my service mapping is valid or not. So how can I do that? So okay, what I can do, user validator dot get is valid. So in this I need to pass three things. First I need to pass the symbolic name of particular uh, bundle. So framework util dot get bundle this dot get class, and outside that get symbolic name. Okay, and in the next I will pass null, and in the third one I want to pass test. So this means that if there is any mapping available for no subservice, symbolic name, and test user, so I will pass it like this. So I will build the code once again, and meanwhile I will check if I have added the parameter in the same way. User validator interface AEM. So meanwhile, I would like to check whether I'm doing it right or not. So okay, maybe I have just added this. Okay, so because I need to pass the variable in the same way API gives me. It is taking a lot of time. Meanwhile, I will test it here. Okay, true. So yes, there is mapping available for this. If there is no mapping available for this, uh, let's suppose I am passing here cug hyphen service. So there is no mapping available for this particular bundle with test. So it will give me false. Sorry. Ah, there is something I'm missing. UG-service, and I have passed here test, and I don't know if I have added any more. No, no more configuration. I think I have passed something wrong in the API. Okay, I think I should conclude it right here because I don't know what happened with service user validator, but it should return false. I think you should check the API once and then we can, just verify it once. Okay, thank you so much for watching.